It's so fetch.
Quit trying to make
fetch a thing.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Crystal. This is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown, produced in the 91.3 at KUWS studios. And I have the band on the airs with me. The four wonderful guys previously from Exhaust are back here again on my show.
Hi.
Thank you, guys.
Hey. Hi,
So
Hello.
much. And actually, you're my first interview of 2019. So thank you guys so much. And
Bringing in the new year, right?
yes,
Thanks for having us.
exactly. And you guys are in the new studios now.
Mm-hmm.
We were just reminiscing about when I had Exhaust in here. Jake, I think you were out in the hallway.
Something like that.
It was like half in the hallway,
Were
half
you?
in the studio.
Yep.
I think I was in the
He
doorway
was in
Yeah.
the doorway.
to the studio.
I couldn't fit all you guys in the
Yeah.
studio with your instruments, but that was the old one.
Uh-huh. I don't remember what we played either. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. It was like someone.
We probably
acoustic.
shouldn't talk about it on this show.
Yeah, probably not.
We're doing a terrible job promoting our current band.
Wrong band.
By talking about our last band.
Dead band.
That's quite all right, quite all right. So in the studio, I've got Connor, I've got Dan, I've got John, and I have a Jake. Hello, gents.
And we have
Hello,
coffee.
Crystal. Yeah.
We do
And
have coffee.
you have coffee?
A delicious
yes.
Thank you
coffee.
for the coffee.
Yes,
Of
thank you.
course, yes. Everybody do a slurp at once, and we'll get it out of the way. Now, let's talk about the current band on the airs. The name, I was actually just listening to some of the music that you guys have up on Bandcamp. I love it.
Thank you.
guys, I love it. It's this cross of ambient punk rock, and then it flows right into this almost 90s grunge, and then comes out on the other side like this wonderful black rose.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the only way I can describe it.
Oh, it's
Full
awesome.
description.
A lot
Well-
of blending.
Yes.
That's exactly what we were going for.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how do you guys get that effect? Do you set out with an idea in mind? Is it just a jam session?
I think,
A little bit of both sometimes, I think.
yeah, I think On the Airs is like probably an evolutionary band,
Okay.
which, you know, if you start at the previous group, Exhaust or something, and then you go to, like, Connor and I kind of did a side project for a while, which was all instrumental, and then if you combined those things, you might get, you might actually start to hear where this band came from, I think.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the other thing is now, it's more. We don't really care what we're gonna do. We just wherever the song goes. So it's more. Why couldn't we do this? It sounds weird at first, but why couldn't we try it? And I think that's coming up with new creative ways for ourselves to like not put a genre or like this song should sound like this. That stretched Connor a lot and me a lot. I know that.
Also comes from listening to a little bit of everything. You know, we don't just listen to one, especially all four of us, you know. So it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Hey, you're in a country band.
It was
John, you were in a country band?
for money.
For money. I like it.
yeah.
Do you want to elaborate a
I
little
don't.
bit? Can
I
you?
don't.
No? Okay.
I don't. It's
All
not,
right.
It's not my style of music. but,
Okay.
yeah.
Gosh darn it. A punk rocker with a bunch of tattoos sitting across from me was in a country band. And I can't
No, I
get
wasn't
him
listening
talk
to it.
about
I was just playing it.
Just playing.
He had metal in his headphones the whole time.
Ah, there you go. There you go. And let's talk about your other projects that you guys have going on. Jake, now just to give people a little bit of some feedback. I met you. We had signed up for Kamikaze together.
Yep.
And you were the drummer for that band. And now that's kind of your mainstay is drumming then.
Yes. Yep. I've been playing out since I was like 18. My first band was pretty hardcore.
Let's go ahead and just say it. Lockdown.
It was Lockdown.
Yeah.
It was tough. It's tough music.
I'd like to plug Lockdown.
Carl, if you're listening.
Can you find any of that?
Yeah, I could. I could find some of that. And then I met Dan and kind of did the Exhaust thing. And then we didn't play together for like 5 years. And then we got back together kind of playing old Exhaust stuff. And then that led into Disney, was it?
No. Mars first.
Mars.
Yeah, we did the Mars Volta
For Ides.
Yep.
cover band for Ides. Yeah.
And then we did the Disney thing, and then Kamikaze came up, and Dan actually signed us all up and didn't sign himself up for Kamikaze. But I had never done it. Had you?
I've
before?
done it, yeah. Three
And I
times.
hadn't.
Connor
and
did it before it was cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say.
I started Kamikaze. Don't let Heiko tell you any different.
Very cool. Now, John, you mentioned that you were in a country band. I promise last time I'll mention it. What else do you have going on in your musical endeavor right now? Is this it for now? Or?
No, I front another metal band.
Okay.
Exposition. Actually, I don't even know if that's the name of our band. We're kind of still forming, but we should be ready by summer. So that's probably the only drop I'm going to do on that band.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I came from Trench, playing bass for Trench. After they kind of fell apart, Dan was playing drums and can I drop
Yeah,
Grounds for
yeah,
Dismissal? Dan was
totally.
playing drums and Grounds for Dismissal.
Mm-hmm.
They needed a bass player, so I teamed up with them. And then after that, he asked me to join Exhaust, and then I ran with them. That's how we met, and then we know the story from there.
All right. Very cool. Dan, you're in so many different bands. Connor, you are too. I just lump you two together and go, those guys.
Yeah, we do tend to kind of do stuff together. But
Yeah. And
Connor
then-
actually has his own band now with his younger brother.
Okay.
A little
Mhm.
bit, yeah. We haven't played out yet. We're still trying to get some stuff going. A
Okay.
little two-piece rock group kind of deal.
Nice,
So
nice.
hoping to play shows a few months here.
Covers, originals?
Mostly originals. We might
Okay.
throw in a few covers, but we try to make them weird. So
Now, Connor and Dan, you are in the band Chasm of Cesar, right?
Yeah, we
Formerly.
Yeah,
Formerly?
we
Okay.
disbanded officially. I
That's-
think
yep.
last Homegrown was our last. No, we did one.
We
one
did
more
one
show after that.
after Homegrown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically
June.
right around last Homegrown, so May of last year.
Yeah, but I would say like that band's really what led into this. I think we took Chasm, and that was all instrumental, and we kind of took what we were going for there, and just it grew into this. You know, we added
Instrumental
vocals and-
with Jeremy just killing it on drums.
Yeah.
You know, a total metal drummer doing, and he did different stuff for himself too.
Yeah.
Which was fun to see.
It stretched him.
Yeah, that
Yep.
that band was. I think that really opened us up as far as like blending all the different kind of ends of the spectrum as far as like rock and metal goes.
Let's jump into kind of how you guys blend on the Heirs together. Like I said before, it's this mesh of guitar and then soft drums and then just flows right into the punk rock and there's a little bit of screamo in there and then it kind of dips back down. Do you guys set out with a plan in mind
It's
to
like almost
create?
no
I don't think
trajectory
so.
whatsoever. It's just, I think kind of what Jake was touching on earlier is just not really having any sort of goal with it as far as it should sound like this, or we can't do that because that's outside of our wheelhouse, or this part's too simple and we need to somehow elaborate on it and make it more, we're just like not being afraid to just keep things as they are,
Be quiet if you.
Yeah.
If it should be
Yeah,
quiet, be
yeah.
quiet.
Maybe don't sing for the whole song, or or maybe you can, but not having to rely on vocals to carry music. I don't know. It's just trying to not
Conform. to
yeah
anything.
conform to anything if we can help that. But of course, you always do in some way or
Yeah.
another. But
I think initially, like, a riff or something just kind of pops up, and we're like, hey, that sounds cool.
We'll just kind of feed off of that, I think we've all grown enough music-wise that we can kind of just feed off each other, and it just builds from there, and usually ends in a pretty cool result.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And now you guys have 3 songs up on Bandcamp.
Yep.
I was just listening to them before you guys came in. Wonderful. Did you guys record those yourselves? Did you go into a studio?
yeah, we just did it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes in 2 days.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah,
it done.
I don't know if we really have any goals in mind of getting into a studio or anything and recording, or if we'll just kind of keep this all DIY. We'll see. We'll let the band kind of develop its own legs and carry itself to wherever it goes, I think. So
Right, right. And now there are so many things that you can do DIY.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I mean, you almost don't need studios anymore.
Right.
Dare I say? Yeah.
Right.
yeah. And then Connor is picking up a lot more, like on the mic, and so is John. Whereas in Exhaust, it was usually me singing,
Mm-hmm.
but now Connor's doing a lot himself, and so is John. Jake hasn't asked for a mic yet, but he might.
We've been
Not,
trying to
but-
push one towards him, but he.
We'll
Probably
sneak
not.
one in there when he's
Yeah.
not looking.
But Connor's been writing too.
Yeah, that's kind of newer for
lyrics
me too.
and guitar parts, which is newer for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Excellent, guys. Wonderful. I'm just going to take a quiet sip of coffee.
I'm gonna follow your lead.
That wasn't quiet. Who was
Oh,
that?
I'm sorry.
That was Jake.
That was a.
I
You
was
can't
w-
bring a beer in here.
So unprofessional.
Well, there are computers in my way, so I can't see anything.
Yeah, that's what she doesn't know.
Plausible deniability.
So you guys have a couple shows coming up this month.
We do.
Do you guys want to dive into those at all, or?
Yeah, Connor, talk about the main show.
February 15th, we'll be at the Main on Tower and Superior. We're playing with Ceaseless Becoming and Torment. I think it's, what, $5 cover?
Yep.
$5 cover.
It's a
Music starts
Valentine's show.
Valentine's show, yeah. So bring your date, bring your grandma.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Are you guys going to dress up at all for Valentine's Day?
oh, we haven't even talked about that.
Well, we do love to dress up.
We do.
So,
You look pretty good in a dress.
hey, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we will.
We'll get crazy.
We'll come up with
As
a
of now, we
theme.
don't have a plan, but I guess don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Kind of the running theme in the band is not making
It's not really
plans.
like our thing. It just happens sometimes.
No more masks.
Yeah.
No more masks. We tried that once, and
Yeah.
it was a good idea on paper and out of paper.
Ew. The
Karen-
Disney show. Did you come to the Disney show? I can't
I
remember.
did not. I did
Okay.
not make it.
Well, it was a masquerade,
Okay.
so it was
Yeah.
kind of the purpose.
Yeah, the Heaven and Hell Masquerade. We
It
did
wasn't
the
like, hey, let's play
Dark
with
Disney.
masks. It was a masquerade, but
So we had masks that correlated with whatever songs we were doing.
as soon as the
but-
first song kicked in, we were like, why? This is such a bad idea.
They just got in the way. Got
Yeah.
too sweaty.
Yeah.
Got in the
We-
way, kept popping off.
We never rehearsed with them, so we just played. We started playing live with them, and you can't
They're
see
like
your
these
guitar.
cardboard construction paper masks that you make when you're in like first grade.
Right,
you know, It's
right.
like,
Yeah, it's probably why
We're
there's
grown
such a
men,
thing as a
so-
dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys have nailed it down. You got your personalities down, your instruments. I don't think you really need rehearsals.
I appreciate that. I think we do. But
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna, dress up and wear masks, you should probably practice that part too,
Yeah.
Very
or
true.
learn the hard way. You know.
I think the fun thing about these shows, though, is we had, 3 songs when we started, and we had to write a set list for we had a show coming up, so we had to have a set list. We wrote another
3, 4.
we've got.
How many songs
more
do we
than that,
have?
5 more.
Yeah, they're pretty long though.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
We've
is
got
the
about an
songs
hour
tend to
worth
be.
of music.
I don't know what we have up there. How long those ones are.
We don't even know how many songs we have.
There's
Whatever.
On the spot right now,
Yeah.
we can't even answer this question.
No,
I'm
but we
calling
wrote
this out.
we rewrote songs for the show, and it was fun to see how quick some of them were written, and then other ones we had like the instruments down, but we had no lyrics or lyrical melody yet. But it's fun having all new material because in every other band all of us have been in, you always had something from the past or whatever.
Yeah, we
you
haven't
know.
pulled any old songs out
Nope,
Everything's
it's all
brand new
Yeah.
or
Brand
covers
new.
or anything.
vibe to it.
Yeah. Now, when you guys, let's jump into the creative process a little bit here. When you guys go to write out a song, I know you've said it's kind of a free flow, you go off of a riff or maybe a lyric. What comes first, the riffs or the lyrics or an idea?
Usually it's been
Usually the
guitar
instrumental.
riffs.
Yeah. It's
good old-
almost always guitars first.
Yeah. It's just Dan and I being so guitar dominant, and it's kind of like how the songs have always, it's
But-
always written, especially like in Chasm. So.
But sometimes guitars with drums mostly.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
not just Dan sitting at home with his guitar, showing up at the studio. Hey guys, I got a song.
Right.
You know, it's usually like
Yeah, there's usually just like
It's
a
kind of
piece,
together,
a piece
but-
of a riff that will kind of all bounce off each other, and then it'll just go from there.
and then see what it flows into.
Yep.
Sometimes that's really fast, and sometimes it's really slow.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that one night, you had an idea, and within like 5 minutes, we had like a 5.5 minute song or
Yeah.
whatever.
It all just kind of pieced itself together.
But that's kind of part of like not caring, just letting it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dan wasn't even really trying. It was just one part led into another part, led into another part, and I don't know. That's the fun part of it.
And if we hit a block, we kind of wait till the next time, then it comes together.
Yeah, I haven't been forcing a whole lot with this project. It's just, I mean, we all have jobs. We're old. We don't. This isn't our get rich quick scheme. So it's just sit on it for a while and just let it kind of do its own thing.
Right. It almost kind of sounds like this band came together organically.
Yeah.
As
Very
well.
organically,
Mhm.
yes.
Right. Do you find that that's better in a way for, the creation process and, getting along with each other? And I've had other musicians tell me, I have to get along with my guitarist, otherwise it's just not going to work. Or I want to get along with my drummer. Things.
Yeah, it's probably. I'm sure it's more important than
we've been there,
skill
done
set.
that. Being, we're older now, and we've been in other bands and in other bands with each other
Mhm.
as well. So it's like we've had to put up with people in the past, and
But we're not trying to get anywhere.
in this case, we're friends.
I think that's the biggest change in the band is we're not like trying to win a battle of the bands or get on the radio or whatever it was, what it used to be. Now
Jake,
it's just
we're on the radio.
yeah,
We gotta
this
go
is
back.
cool.
We did something wrong.
This
We
is
messed
cool.
up.
We're on the radio
But-
right now,
we
Jake.
broke our own rules.
So besides that, hypocritical decision on our part. No, it's cool because there's not a lot of pressure on it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we
it's
really
more
don't
fun.
have to be doing anything, so we don't really have to put up with each other.
This sounds like the pitch for Seinfeld when he pitched it to the
It's a band about
executives.
nothing.
It's a show about nothing. Yeah, well, it's about something. No, it's about nothing.
Yes. That's okay. It's got some
So,
laughs in there.
so we're
It's
older
funny.
now.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Way more mature.
I think last time you guys were in here, and granted, I'm older and I've grown up as well. I think last time you were in here, who said it? Somebody said, "I'm higher than a giraffe's butt." That's all
One
I
of us?
remember. Yes.
Well, it wouldn't have been me.
I wouldn't have said that.
I have a
It
pretty
sounds
good
like
idea
something John would say.
who it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember saying that, but
Yep, there you go.
It's
There's
got
your
me.
evidence.
That's funny. She looked that up. It's like, I'm getting this exact quote.
she reviewed that tape, didn't she?
No, not at all. It's just something I've always remembered
Great
because it
memory.
always makes me laugh.
Makes a good impression.
Yeah.
Very good
I
impression.
can't believe I said that.
Yeah, well,
I
I can believe
Like,
it.
I can
on,
believe
on the radio? Really?
On the radio.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
Kids, don't do what I do.
it.
Don't
Learned from my mistakes.
learn from. Yeah, just don't.
So now that you guys are older than where you were with Exhaust and your other bands, how has your music kind of matured? Have you seen a maturity in your music or how you approach a show?
Yeah. I
not-
think, like, how do you gauge that? I think a lot of people would gauge, like, your technical skill. Has that grown? Like, has your dexterity become more proficient or something like that? But I think maturity in music is just, like, not being afraid to just let the song sort of be the way it is.
Mhm.
You know, you don't have to just add flash to every single
I'm
thing.
not trying to polish it as much.
Yeah,
Make it commercial or whatever.
We don't need to
it
like
is.
showcase every 5 seconds and have a guitar solo here or
Yeah.
whatever. And we're not playing fast enough, so we must not be good.
I like the less is more kind of aspect sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's how, at least personally, that's how I've matured. Is like letting a note maybe ring for 4 bars, you know, and being okay with that, rather than like, oh my God, there's so much air in this song right now, and we have to fill it with things. So
Do something 15 times.
Mhm.
it had to be 15.
It had to be 15.
Or even veering away from certain riffs or melodies because they're too pretty. It's not punk rock. It's
Yeah.
not metal.
Right.
You can't do that.
Mhm.
You know.
I think really trying to, like, one example is like all the harmonies. We've been trying to
Yeah.
fill in the melodies and harmonies that we've been kind of adding. That's new for us, and I think that's kind of one way we've matured musically.
Very cool. Since you guys mentioned it, let's dive in. Since I'm in the presence of 4 punk rockers from the Northland here, don't deny it. You all smiled. What now? I've heard it said from, I'm pulling far up the chain from like Billy Joe Armstrong. Punk rock is about individuality and blah 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 blah, what have you. But what does it mean for you guys? I mean, I know you said that harmonies and melodies is now kind of coming into your music, but it's still punk. I'm making you think this afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are.
I never thought of punk as terms of music, more just personality.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how to really elaborate on that,
It's kind
But of course, it does get categorized as a style of music.
it's kind of just your attitude overall.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Just not caring.
I'm sure there's like some sort of philosophy behind what makes a punk rocker, like some sort of nihilism, I suppose, that has to be present in
Anarchy.
your awareness of things, but like not just, I think, I don't know, there's an evolution to everything. Like any sort of activism that you're involved with, you start like angry or something, and then you grow from that and you mature and you find more effective ways to I don't know, just like display whatever you're being an activist for. I'm comparing activism with being a punk rocker, but I think they both make statements, and so as a punk rocker early on, I think it's all like anarchy, but then you realize that that's not going to help anything or solve anything.
No.
Yeah, I think for us it's just about like not quite not fitting in quite as much. We like to be different, so.
Definitely.
Well, no, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we never, in our other projects, we never fit in. We weren't like light enough, or we weren't heavy enough.
Usually not cool enough.
That hasn't changed.
We're not allowed in every bar because of certain people. But so like not caring about that now, just like not worrying about fitting in. I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to like picture us as punk rock, but I just think it is what it is. It's just a little different, I don't know.
All right, awesome. Thank you for elaborating on that for me, because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Never really thought about it, I guess.
Hey, there you go.
So,
Making you think.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And now you guys have another show coming up at Beaners Central, and you're sharing the stage with Mr. Kickass.
Mhm.
And now Mr. Kickass is an older punk band. They've been around for quite a while. Hi, Mike.
Mhm.
How did that gig come about? Did somebody ask somebody else? or-
Mike approached us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He asked, I think they just needed another band to fill the slot, and he saw that we were getting this thing going.
Mike's always been really supportive of like
Yeah.
groups that Connor and I have been involved in the past,
We
like
played
through
with their band
Libfest
through
and stuff
Chasma.
like that.
When Chasmazar used to play with them quite a bit and stuff.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
yeah, Mike's a good dude. So he asked us to play the show, and we, of course,
Yeah,
wanted to.
we love Beaners,
Mhm.
and Mike's awesome, so it'll be fun to play.
Yep.
All right.
The
Excited.
kids can go.
Yeah, it'll be all ages.
So.
Yeah, the show on the 15th, of course, is at a 21 plus venue, but
Mhm.
Beaners, anyone can go, so it'll be cool because we all have kids except
Mhm.
Connor, but he's got a dog, so maybe they can let his dog in or something.
Oh, dress her up, put a wig,
Dress
put a
her
wig
up.
on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love coffee, so
Yeah.
Coffee's good.
Hmm. Hey,
Mm.
I can attest to that. I love coffee too.
Uh-huh.
Connor, will you go refill our coffees?
Actually, you know what, guys? Why don't we listen to one of your songs quick,
Mhm,
and then
perfect.
we'll reconvene, okay?
Cool.
All right. On the Airs is in the studio here on 91.3 KUWS right here in Superior. This is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown. We'll be right back right after this.
on, or amateur hour over here.
We just hired him on for the studio time.
Or how about you
Yeah.
guys are?
You guys are stand-ins.
What do you call them?
One of those guys.
What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hired
No,
guns.
you
Hired
guys are
guns.
fine.
Hired
You guys
guns,
are
yeah.
fine.
Hired guns.
No,
We're just the
It's
It's
rhythm
better to
section.
get it out of our system before you hit record.
Yeah.
So.
Too late.
Yeah. There we go.
Hold on.
Sounds about right.
And we're back. This is another edition of the 9 o'clock meltdown here on 91.3 KUWS. On the Airs is in the studio. We just heard your song, Our Cemetery, correct?
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, exactly. This show's not syndicated at all.
Yeah.
Totally live.
It's really off the cuff. Unleashed.
Yep. And now, Dan, you were telling me that you actually wrote that song for your wife, Amber,
Uh-huh.
on her birthday.
Yes. So I'll try not to spend too much time on this, but like the week before her birthday, I started working on this little riff, and Connor and I were sitting in the kitchen. He like told me to make it like really complicated after the fourth measure or something. So I did, and then it just led into this like, it's the most corny, like pretty sing-songy riff of all time that I've ever written in my life, probably. So her birthday was coming up. We were buying a house, so I figured, I play music. I could just write her a song, instead of spending ungodly amounts of money on something. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we did. And then we spent the whole week in the basement recording it, and she was just getting mad because I wasn't helping with anything in the house, like packing up for moving and stuff. I
Playing
wasn't doing
music
anything.
every night
Yeah.
of the week.
She's like, "Oh, what are you doing tonight? You gonna help clean out the garage?" "Nope, I'm gonna go downstairs and play music." Oh, you are, huh? But she was happy with the final product when she realized it was not all just me goofing off in the basement.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
With
I
your
was about to
friends.
ask.
yeah, yeah. She didn't leave me over. So.
That's your first time writing a song for somebody. Right?
Never done it before. Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd think. I'm sure a lot of people do that when they play music, but I just never. I don't know if it never occurred to me or what, but I never really thought about it before. So,
Well, it turned out absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, we worked pretty hard on it. I mean,
Mhm.
the recording was a bit rushed because we had a deadline before her birthday, of course. But we did work really hard on it. So
And we were learning it as we were recording it.
Yeah,
because
we
we
were
didn't.
kind of still writing it as we were recording it.
Yeah.
It wasn't finished when Dan messaged us and said, "Hey, can we do this
Mm-hmm.
like this week?" We're all like, "Yeah," and then we started playing it. It's like, well, we don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
It's not finished
Yeah.
being written, but it came together, I think, really well. And that song's a little different for us too, I think.
Well, it's got a little bit of an unusual time signature, especially for that opening part. Well, I guess the time signature itself isn't tricky, but it does have like an extra bar at the end of the fourth measure, which makes it a little bit. If it's the first time hearing it and you're trying to play drums along to it, it can be a little jarring. So, yeah.
But Jake, you nailed it, right?
Yeah, after after just repeating it like 10, 15 times. in a
He's
row.
being modest. He did everything in one take.
No.
Well, and his hands were broken.
They call him One Take Jake.
Yeah,
One take
that
Jake.
is his name.
Yeah, or two take. That was a two
However
take.
many takes it take Jake.
Rolls right out the
Wednesday
tongue.
take. Tuesday take didn't work.
And now you guys are all self-taught musicians, correct?
For the most part.
Yeah. I was in band.
We didn't go to school
30
for
years,
this,
but-
I guess, if that's what
Yeah.
you're asking.
I mean, I grew up. My dad played guitar and stuff like that growing up, so I had a few guitar teachers, but most of it turns into self-taught. So.
Well, Connor was like, what, 9 years old when he started in the old band?
In exhaust.
In exhaust.
I was
His,
14,
his
but
first show at Ortiz, he was like 14.
I was
years
14
old.
years old.
He looked
True
like
story.
a baby.
True story.
Yeah.
Bartender still tries to not let me in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
You're
just-
not serious.
No, we're serious.
Yeah.
I was 14 years old in my first gig.
That guy
Exhaust.
doesn't. He doesn't work there anymore, though. You
No.
can go to Ortiz now.
No,
if you want.
I think he died.
No, he didn't die. You can't say stuff like that.
Oh.
You can't say stuff like that on the radio, Connor.
Get that post.
Well, now that kind of sounds like a story and a half. Can we dive into that for a hot second?
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So Connor was 14
Mhm.
on your first show. Is
Yeah.
this your first show ever, or your first
Pretty
show with
much.
band?
I played one show. My guitar teacher, when I lived in Arkansas in middle school, put this like group together at school, and we played like a little coffee shop one day with just like Beatles covers and stuff like that. But yeah, I moved up here. My dad actually worked with Jake. That's how I met Jake and Dan. He started going to exhaust shows and stuff, and they had this guitar player, Tom.
Lore.
Lore.
He goes by Lore now.
That's a different story for a different time.
That's a different story.
I just think we should refer to him as Lore.
Yeah.
He does. His
Promote
name
him.
His name is Lore.
He's a
It
wrestler.
is now.
He's a
Okay.
wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right.
So
Don't want to mess
Lore-
with him.
So Lore.
So Lore moved down to the cities
Okay.
to become Lore, and Exhaust needed another guitar player.
Hold on, I want to jump in because like I like this. I like the story. I like telling the story. So, Jake used to work with Connor's dad, so like everyone would hang out, barbecues and stuff like that. And Connor was in his room playing old Exhaust songs on the guitar, and Dan overheard it, and he like busts in the room. He's like, "You're doing it wrong." He grabs a guitar from Connor and shows him how it's done, and then eventually, we needed the guitar player, so we just.
Well, I was coming to practices before when Tom was still even in the
Oh
band,
yeah,
just to hang out.
He would come to
and,
practices and watch us and
just hang out.
stuff
And
like
I
that
started
too.
learning all the songs on the CD, and Dan just came. He was like, "Do you want to play guitar?" I was like, "Yeah." And
So we got him.
I wrote it.
young.
I spent so much time writing him all these guitar tabs for all the music, and I mapped it out in the most intuitive way that you could possibly imagine, and then gave him every song, and I titled the songs and correlated them with the tabs. Turns out he can't read tabs anyway. So it did no good
I
whatsoever.
was just listening. Yeah. Yep. It's useless. But yeah, I played our very first gig at RT's. It was just me, Dan, and Jake. It was an acoustic set. I think John was down in Florida or something like that.
Yeah, he decided
on the road.
He decided to go on
Yeah.
tour.
So it was,
that's
an
right.
acoustic set, and that went pretty good. And then I think like another month later, or a couple months
I
later,
came
we
back
had
from the tour
Yeah,
and,
John was back, and then
They're like, "Oh, by the way, Connor's in the band."
Yep.
Lore disappeared.
Yeah.
and,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
it was been playing with Dan ever since for the most part. So
How
But-
many years has that been?
10.
All right.
Yeah.
10 years.
Connor, big boy now.
Yeah,
Still the baby, though, right?
it's always.
Yes.
Look at the face.
Still breaking windows.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys actually been together as a band? I mean, in Exhaust and side projects and everything
I
else?
moved up here from near the Twin Cities, at least around 2003, and kind of tried to get something going on, a band going off the ground when I first moved up here, but I didn't know anybody really. I met some kids that had moved down here from Silver Bay, and they played music, and I jammed with them a little bit. That was kind of the conception of Exhaust, but it didn't really pan out with them. But I did like start developing a pretty strong catalog of music at least. So I met Jake through the industry, I guess, and started playing with him, and then it just kind of grew from there. Another friend of ours who passed away, Mark, he started playing bass for a while, and then Mark had some things going on in his life, and then that's when John came in, and then we started playing with Tom, who turned into Lore, and then he left. So then Connor came in. So I guess, I don't know, Jake and I have been
It's
playing
been like
together since
12.
06?
Well, then
I
you
was
had
thinking 2006.
You had Aaron in between too.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Aaron was
Without me.
Aaron played for a minute.
Hi, Aaron.
Aaron Androsky, good
Good
dude.
bass player.
He moved down to Milwaukee, I think, or
Yeah,
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Something like that.
Green
Yeah.
Bay.
He was a good bass player.
Yeah, super solid. Actually, we were in the middle of recording an album when he was playing with us, but
Mhm.
it just kind of fell apart after when he left, and then it was just like,
That was kind of the end of Exhaust for a long time.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk about On the Airs for
Yeah.
a hot second.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie. I actually had to look up how to pronounce Airs
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
correctly.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm an American and
Mhm.
sometimes we just can't pronounce things. How did you guys come up with the name?
Oh my gosh.
It was so easy and
No,
quick.
it was not.
The naming process was like
We have
a
this
couple
group.
messages.
No, so we have this group message, and like, I would throw out a name, maybe Connor would throw out a name, and then everyone would be like, no, and then it would just turn into like joke name, and then this went on for like 3 months,
Mhm.
and we weren't getting anywhere. And then we had a show booked.
We didn't have a
We're
name
like,
yet.
we need
Yeah.
a name, you guys.
Yeah.
We have to settle on something. So, I guess I don't really know exactly how we finally landed on something, except that we had to. So
Yeah.
we had to stop being so picky.
But we were
What
going
was-
for something that sounded like something else, looked like something else, and we wanted some people at least, to have to look it up,
Think about
and
it a little bit, maybe.
think about it, and
There's a bit of a message in it, like modern day culture. Well, maybe not necessarily like this generation, but definitely previous generations, where it's like everything around you is kind of falling apart, but not our problem. The next generation can worry about it, kind of thing.
Okay.
And you saw that a lot with like the boomer generation, and I don't know if it's definitely, the cycle doesn't appear to be continuing. People seem to be caring a little bit more now about the future of things, but definitely for a time that was the thought process, I think. So it's sort of a play on that a little bit, just like put it on the heirs, on your heirs, the next generation kind of thing. So, and then it's just kind of funny, like on the air. I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. On the air.
Super
sir.
clever.
On the air.
I'm just happy we don't have to come up with a name anymore.
Yeah.
But
Well-
in a new name, I liked the idea of having a new name, because the music to me was so different.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
not
definitely
Exhaust.
not Exhaust anymore, and that was a lot of fun. We have a lot of good memories, but this is different to us, and I think it sounds different, but I don't know. I love the name.
Yeah, Exhaust was like our fun band. That was like our fun band to cut our teeth on and grow as
Learn.
musicians and learn a lot. Whereas like this is the band that I think we feel the most comfortable playing, because we're just doing what we want to do.
Yep.
Right, right.
And it's not fun at all.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
it's all work.
It's not fun at all. That's why I've got 4 guys all smiling and joking around with each other across
Well,
from
Connor
me.
has tears in his eyes while he smiles. But
They
He
paid
was-
me to come here.
he was
so-
crying earlier before we got here.
Laughing so hard you were crying.
A little bit.
All right. And now you guys have said that On the Airs is just, if I may reiterate here, it's your kind of fun band. You don't really have an agenda. You don't have like a set goal of putting out a CD or doing X amount of shows or going out on tour. Are you hopeful that those things can kind of happen, or are you just going to free flow it?
I don't even know if we ever could go on tour.
Yeah,
I can.
Connor
You
and
can't.
John
You're the
could.
busiest one.
But yeah, I mean, if something were to come up, I'd be all for getting into a studio and recording, but we have the means to do it at least, I don't know, semi-well on our own. So
DIY, yeah. I think just kind of whatever happens, free flow for sure.
I mean, if Sacred Heart wants to go ahead and just like
Plug.
let us come in there and record a full album, that'd be pretty cool.
For free.
But, yeah.
Put a sticker on my bass drum head.
That worked in the past. Man.
All
Yep.
right.
But no big plans as of right now, I guess, if that's what you're asking.
Mhm.
Just kind of one day at a time.
Yep.
But I think that's already taken.
Yeah.
When-
Well, we used to
Yeah, I
play
think there's a
too many
program.
I
shows.
think there's a program
uses
that
that,
uses
too.
that.
I think back when we were really like kind of running, if you will, we were playing like every weekend at one point, and you end up like it's hard to get people out to your show because it's like we just saw you guys,
Mhm.
you know. So I think we're gonna play a fair amount of shows, but it's not gonna be Tuesday night, Saturday night, Thursday night, but
Maybe Sunday morning though.
Yeah.
possibly Sunday morning.
We're gonna be looking for a lot of
Definitely
brunch
not
shows.
Monday
Anybody needs a band to
afternoon.
play brunch. We're good.
yeah.
Yeah, we're a good brunch
I'm gonna use
band.
some quiche
Break it down
catering.
acoustically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Play
Yeah.
some brunch music.
Uh-huh.
Nice, nice. So let's dive into that just a little bit, since you mentioned
Into brunch?
playing. Yes,
I like
brunch.
omelets.
I like brunch.
I enjoy brunch. I actually had an egg wrap on my way over
Mm.
here. It was really good. Yeah.
No.
Playing too many shows. Was that kind of a killer for you guys? Did you guys get a little sick of it, or I mean,
I don't
obviously
know
it's
if we
exciting
did.
for the start, but
Yeah. Well, I think again, Exhaust was a really good band to learn about. Your demographic, or I don't know, that sounds like we
Audience?
mattered, but
What about the
but just like
People listening to this are gonna be like, "Who's exhaust?"
but just like oversaturating your sound, you know, to where why does anybody? They just saw you last weekend.
Right.
You know, what do you have a whole new album that you're gonna
Right.
play?
Mhm.
You know, or
Well,
why would they come and hear this? I don't know, whatever.
and I think
so.
I think playing constantly also really puts the music to test too. You know, if you've got a certain set list that you just play over and over, I think sometimes those songs can get pretty old for you to
Mhm.
just keep playing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, Radiohead does not enjoy playing Creep.
yeah,
Yes,
that kind of thing.
I heard that the other day.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
they don't like that song whatsoever. Yet it's their best one.
Yeah, well, that's,
Well,
that's
according
it's
to-
the one that it definitely got the most airplay, I would imagine. So,
Right.
but you know, so it's, I guess along those lines.
That kind of aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Burn yourself out, I guess.
Mhm. Right. I guess that's more what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Sure.
You guys
Mhm.
are hitting.
I think
it
you burn
smoothly.
everybody out. You burn yourselves out, and you burn
Mhm.
out anybody that's interested in coming to see you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. Maybe playing just one show a month would be fine.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. So you guys have 2 shows coming up this month.
Uh huh.
February 15th at the Main. That's a plus 21.
Yep.
And then the week after, you guys are at Beaner's with Mr. Kickass. So it's an all ages show.
Yep.
And what was the cover charge?
$5.
5.
Yep.
All right. $5 cover charge on that one.
Mhm.
So exciting. All right. And you guys are still kind of in the process of recording. You'll have some more music up on your Bandcamp
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Once we get settled in, I'm in the middle of a move, and
Mhm.
we usually record with most of the gear that's set up at my place. So once we get settled in there, then we'll probably hunker down and
Mhm.
and actually take our time with it, set up some tempo maps, and
Do it right.
try to come up with the best product we can come up with, at least on
Mhm.
our own. And then
Yep.
I don't know what we'll do with that. I'm sure we'll just host it on Bandcamp for free. We don't expect people to pay for this.
I'll pay for it.
You'll pay for
Yeah,
it.
I'll pay for
You
it.
bought a couple of
I
our songs.
bought, yeah,
Why did
for
you do
50
that?
cents,
I
'cause
kept
it-
getting these notifications
You
in my
had
email
to.
that Jake Alvar bought 2 songs.
Because they make you to pay for the Bandcamp thing, so.
I listed them both as free. I don't.
I know. I wanted to download them, so I had them on my phone.
Oh.
Then you sent it to me right after I paid for it.
You don't have to buy our songs. I'll just give them to you.
I'm still learning. It's a learning process.
I mean, I appreciate you paying me because that money does go right into my
It's a good
account.
investment.
Jake's our biggest fan.
It's
so.
a good investment.
Jake's financially carrying this band.
I raised
50
the-
cents at a time.
Yeah, via his downloads.
Raise the dollar.
All right, wonderful. On the Airs is in the studio with me, Connor, Dan, John, Jake. Whew, a lot of J's.
Mhm.
But thank you guys so much for taking time
Thank you.
out of your day.
Thanks for having
Dan, I
us.
know you're moving. Thank you.
Yeah, and then you promised to help. I think right after this interview.
Yeah. I think she was renting a U-Haul. She said something about a U-Haul.
Well, I could put up money for the U-Haul.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay.
No. we need labor. We need
Yeah.
hands.
You need actual
Yeah.
muscle. All right, let me put the shout out. Anybody that can help Dan,
Perfect.
please do so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Good luck with your shows coming up. I will
Thank you.
definitely be there.
Awesome.
And then keep us updated
Yeah,
on
of
what's
course.
coming up next.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Thank you.
Of course. This has been another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown here on the 91.3 at KUWS in Superior. The show was produced in the KUWS studios. Have a great night.